Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 15 of our podcast. Episode 15. We were just having a bit of a chat before about last week's mysterious podcast, and we were saying it obviously happened because episode 13 went so well for us.
Yeah.
And we were all worried about, unlucky number 13.
That 14 crept up.
On
us.
Yeah.
While we were all busy thinking about 13, 14 was waiting in the shadows.
That's right. Just ready to.
It was just
pounce.
looking across the room.
Yeah, and which is disappointing because we were looking pretty smart actually. This was obviously during Art Deco weekend and that sort of stuff. So we were loving the Art Deco.
The
Art Deco style, Art Deco times. So yeah. Speaking of clothing, we're clearly very well matched today.
We are. We coordinated our costumes this morning. James rang me up.
Yeah. Said, put on your best gear.
Yeah, put on your best gear.
Your best gear.
All right, mate. Say no more.
I've got it.
I've got just the thing.
I know exactly what I'm going to wear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason that I'm dressed like this is because we're recording this podcast as we always do on a Saturday, and I'm supposed to be going to an awards thing after we've done all of this. An awards night.
We're only 14 episodes in already. Esoterica is sweeping up awards. I found it a bit strange that we got an Academy Award nomination.
Yes.
I found that very odd, but they said no. Look, we've had to change the rules. We've got to get with the times, and we've finally decided to recognise short form film on YouTube.
Actually, they were like, your podcast is so good that we're entering it for Best Picture. Like it's just it's not even a specific category. It's just straight to the top.
It still makes more sense than Bohemian Rhapsody being nominated for Best Picture. Probably get slaughtered in the comments for that.
Why don't you like Bohemian Rhapsody? I haven't seen it, so I can't.
I haven't actually seen it either.
Okay,
but do you know the worst thing about it? I haven't seen it, but I've read the script and I know everything that happens. It's a total crock of shit. The whole movie. It's offensively inaccurate to the history of Queen.
Yeah.
It's absolutely bizarre, but it's probably a conversation for another day.
Okay.
But just some little cool tips, like for example, they don't break up before Live Aid.
No.
And there isn't this big thing about, Freddie was so selfish for going solo. Roger Taylor released a solo album before he did. Was that mentioned? No. No, it wasn't. Funny that, because Brian May and Roger Taylor were producers of that same film. I hate it. I hate the way they dealt with his personal life. I thought the lack of any sort of, communication about his early life, especially because he lived in East Africa. And it was obviously a huge... that defined him as a human being. Absolutely no mention.
Well, what was his actual name? Farouk. I can't remember his last name. His first name was Farouk.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It's one of those pub quiz questions that you get all the time.
Yeah.
What was Freddie Mercury's real name?
Yeah. But the whole and things like the whole chronology, We Will Rock You, the point in the film where that was written, that didn't make any sense. It didn't, and they didn't end at Live Aid. They didn't just finish at Live Aid. There was 5, 6, 7 years before Freddie Mercury died.
Yeah.
And before their Wembley,
some of their greatest work.
Iconic Wembley performance and stuff.
Yeah.
So the whole, the thing is, Queen's always been really good at marketing itself and branding and stuff. It was always ahead of its time. But the way that the film went about it was a bit crass. I don't know. I need to actually... I keep saying the way the film went about it when I haven't seen it. But the stupid thing is I've devoured every bit of media about it, including I've read the script, which is... Oh my god, it's worse. I think it's worse reading the script because you get things like how it describes how they wrote a song.
Yeah.
And it's like, everyone looks at each other like they've just cracked the code of, because they just, oh, look, we all came up with this song together in the room just so organically like this.
That's how
it,
But that's That's what we do whenever we come up with our stuff for a podcast.
Yeah.
We look at each other like we've cracked the code.
Like, oh my god! And then we start playing a few notes, and then everyone starts joining in, and then Mike Myers, the fake record executive, by the way, who never existed. No one ever like him even existed in the at EMI. Comes bursting in. He's like, "You can't do that. You know, you can't have a 6-minute podcast because of radio." Oh,
Well, that was unexpected ire for
sorry.
So early on
I don't know. I like Queen, and I've devoured everything about Queen.
Yeah.
I don't so much listen to them anymore as much as I used to when I was younger, but I have devoured a lot of Queen, so I do. Yeah, I don't know.
Which is going to segue us rather nicely into what we're going to talk about a little bit today. But before we do, what is our beer today, Anthony? What are we drinking today?
So today we're drinking. It's a Liberty Brewery brewing. Wow, I got that one wrong, didn't I?
Yes, Liberty Brewing Company from Helensville in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's called Uprising, and it's a West Auckland Pale Ale.
Yeah,
it's very nice actually. It's just nicely balanced.
It's one of your favourite ones so far, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just nicely balanced. It's a craft beer, but it doesn't go overboard with trying to scream flavour.
Yeah.
Into your mouth. Yeah.
Thank you, Liberty
Brewer.
Brewer.
Good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's great.
Right, so what's on top? What's on top this week? So we're going to talk a little bit this week about the arts. And the reason that we're talking about this is that the awards thing that I'm going to this evening is for a theatre company. And I'm nominated for some awards, which is kind of nice for me. I don't often.
That's very nice.
I don't often get nominated for awards, which is maybe says something about my ability, but like,
no, it doesn't say anything about your ability.
But it's nice. It's nice to be nominated. So we've been having a bit of a chat over the last little while about the arts, and this has become quite a big topic in New Zealand generally at the moment. Jacinda Ardern has come out. For those of you who aren't from New Zealand, don't know where New Zealand is, Jacinda Ardern's our Prime Minister, has come out and talking about the importance of arts and the importance of the arts to the community, the importance of the arts to society and sort of generally, and how we should be supporting the arts and how we should be funding the arts and all of this sort of stuff, which is sort of music to our ears.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's nice to finally have a
recognition of the fact that it's important.
Yeah.
That it does more than just have people floating around on stage and a bit of fun and a bit of entertainment.
Sort of
like it does have benefits. It teaches you lots of stuff, and I certainly believe creates communities within things. So I know that some of you have asked on the Discord and things like that, and you have asked a little bit about where we've come from and what we've done, and so we thought we'd talk a little bit about our own journey through the arts, how we came into the arts, what arts we are involved in, and why we think this is important, or where we think things are going from here. So, Anthony, how did you get involved in the arts? What arts are you involved in, and how did you get involved in the arts?
Well, I was involved in theatre from a very, very young age because my father and his family were as well, and my mum was too at the time. And basically, they were directors and set builders, that side of the family. So you had my grandfather, who's a director, and my father, who was a set designer and set stage manager, and so I sort of grew up almost living in theatre.
But bizarrely, sort of musical theatre, yeah, like musical theatre.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love music, obviously.
Big fan of music.
Big fan of music. About a 6 out of 10.
Just one music.
Just medium music. So but I'm not I'm not a singer and I'm not a dancer. I always, I sway more towards the more dramatic acting kind of things. Although that's not to say I don't like musical theatre.
Well,
I'd be hung, drawn, and quartered if I said I did like it.
Well, you do, but it's just the sort of musical theatre you like.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and very
is quite
particular
specific
about it. Yeah,
we're both a little bit like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I suppose it's like saying, you know, like you sort of said a little bit before. It's like saying I like music. Like,
so you must like
so you like one music.
Yeah.
Like,
you must love Australian rap then.
I actually do. Hilltop Hoods are awesome.
They're actually, I actually don't mind them. Yeah, probably not the best example.
I love Hilltop Hoods, mate. But like, yeah, you need to be sort of reasonably specific, and it's sort of like, you know, you can like musical theatre, but you don't have to like all musical theatre.
No.
So you're largely a theatrical background, and myself, I'm largely musical. So
Yes.
so I came up through the sort of a very traditional sort of way, playing violins. Oh, at the same time, multiple violins at the same time. No, playing the violin in orchestras and things like that. And that's weirdly how I segued into theatre. Was playing for musicals. And I was always kind of like, I'd kind of like to do that. That looks like a bit of fun. So I kind of got involved and never looked back. And that's how Anthony and I met. Who's actually doing musical theatre. Doing theatre. So we've talked a little bit about, or we've alluded at least, to the fact that you like sort of specific kinds of musical theatre. What sort of musical theatre things, or what shows, what kind of shows tickle you?
I like, I guess it's a bit like when you go to a restaurant. Okay, so like, to me, the happy, the musicals that are just song, costume, dance, they're fine and they have their place, and, you know, dazzling lights and with not much depth.
Happy clappy.
Yeah, happy clappy. It's like the equivalent of going to McDonald's. You know, sometimes you just want to just not think.
Yeah.
And just sort of fill that hole, I guess. But I'm definitely more into the more drama, something with a bit of depth, emotional depth, and something that actually takes the audience on a journey. And, you know, essentially, I think you've done well with the show if the audience at the end sort of walk away kind of mulling over what they've just seen and really and it really sticks with them. I think it has some sort of emotional or emotive response.
Top 3 shows. Go.
I've got a really, really soft spot for... I love the show Blood Brothers. I think it has everything. It's why I'd always wanted to direct it.
A show we've done together.
Yeah. See, this is hard.
It's really hard.
This is really hard because for me, it's clear. I just sort of think the more I think about it, the more I think Blood Brothers. Are we just going musicals or plays?
No, just musicals.
Just musicals. Okay. No, well, Sweeney Todd's an opera.
Well, yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, you know, you can count Sweeney Todd. It's quite often performed as a musical.
True.
Actually, bizarrely, for those of you that don't actually know what the difference between a musical and an opera is, it's the amount of dialogue. So less than 10% of the script is spoken. It's an opera. Over 10%, it's a musical. Which theoretically makes things like Evita, Jesus Christ Superstar, Sweeney Todd, Les Mis, those kinds of things, opera, as distinct from musicals. But we consider them to be part of the musical theatre canon. They get performed on, like, you know, Broadway, you know, those kinds of things, West End. So it's really more musical, I suppose, or considered to be sort of musical theatre, honorary musical theatre.
Yeah, I think third tied would be Jesus Christ Superstar, and probably Les Mis or Albs would probably be tied for third. But my rankings change all the time depending on mood.
It's hard, eh?
Yeah, it's really hard. But yeah, I think that's how I would. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I knew as soon as I asked this question, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to answer this question.
If I had to have a niche top 3, because I feel very like I've got it's very like you have to have really niche.
You have to show your indie cred. Is that what it is? You're worried that you're becoming far too mainstream.
Yeah, far too mainstream. But if I had to have an indie one, I'd go La Cage aux Folles.
Oh yes.
Hedwig.
Yes.
And I actually really like The Last 5 Years.
Okay, so I'm going to say that your niche top 3 is exactly the same as my niche top 3.
It's amazing.
So Last 5 Years, Hedwig. Yep, definitely. And what was the other one?
Alakash.
Oh, Alakash, yes, definitely. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Which is quite nice because it means that I get a crack sort of at an extra 3 on top of that. Which is quite good.
Yeah.
So it's hard because there are reasons that shows move in and out of that top 3 for you.
Yeah.
I'd have to go Les Mis. I'd have to put Les Mis in there because Les Mis is really the show that... I mean, I listened to it since I was a child.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
We had the album in the car on those lots of those trips to Napier.
Yeah.
We listened to it over and over and over and over again. It's probably the only show I know consistently, like at any given time, word for word, note for note.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
I could literally walk in and just go, oh yep, cool.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yep.
Word for word, note for note.
I'm the same. Yeah.
And it really sort of turned me on to musical theatre. So I'd have to put Les Mis in there.
Yeah.
However, I do get sick of it. Like, even though it's in my
I
top 3, I get sick of it.
Myself out on it.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, I think that there are some songs like Castle on a Cloud that are abominations against mankind. I hate them. Rocky Horror.
Oh, for goodness sake, how did I forget that?
Would be in there.
Yeah.
It would be in there in my top 3. And then bizarrely, again, for largely personal reasons, but I'm actually going to put 2 Andrew Lloyd Webbers in there, tied for 3rd place.
I think I know what they are.
It's going to be Jesus Christ Superstar, which bizarrely was a show that for most of my sort of run, I wasn't that much of a fan of.
No, well, I had to convince James of it being good. So, like, we actually had this, because I really wanted to do Jesus Christ Superstar, and I say, look, James, this is a great show. Believe me, and James was like, no, it's just a bad Godspell.
It's just a bad Godspell. Yeah,
is basically his argument, and I was like, no, you actually need to listen to that. You actually need to, and then of course once it got underway, James realized it's actually a really great show.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's actually probably one of the most rewarding shows I've done. Bizarrely,
I kind of agree.
I loved that Anavita.
Yeah,
tied in there as well. I love me some Evita.
Yeah.
So those would probably be in my top 3 at the moment. But again, as you said, it changes all the time.
Yeah.
So the reason we're talking about this is that there's a little bit of a debate. When we talk about the arts, there are always examples used in the arts of, the arts being well funded or the arts being, well looked after from a sort of, I suppose from a political point of view. Like, we patronize the arts, and certainly they do. Like, we're very lucky here in New Zealand with the sort of size of population that we have. We have a national ballet, a national ballet company, which is phenomenal. Yeah. It really is very, very good. And we have a national orchestra as well, which is also incredibly good and fantastic. However, and this point was raised, I can't claim this particular point. This point was raised by Jennifer Ward Leland, is we don't have...
Really?
Yes. We don't have a national theatre.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't. And that's actually a very good point.
So one of the worries, I suppose, with people who are involved in theatre in New Zealand and things like that is that it's becoming increasingly difficult for repertory theatres around the country. So repertory theatres are all of those sort of small theatre companies that exist in your communities that put on shows every year using local talent, all of that sort of stuff. They're finding it increasingly difficult to survive financially. And big chunks of this are things like insurances. People just don't have the time to volunteer or the discretionary dollar to spend to go and see a show.
I think it's a societal change as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And her argument in a wonderful sort of opinion piece that she did online, I believe it was for Stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Her point was that actually, this is potentially sort of the last generation that are going to hone their craft or learn their craft through repertory theatres. through doing that sort of thing consistently. So the only way you're going to be exposed to acting or whatever is if you happen to go after school to an acting school for university, go and do a degree in fine arts or in stage production or whatever. And even then, finding work here in New Zealand will be difficult. Consistent work here in New Zealand,
Absolutely.
and that's the only way you can hone your craft. So, theatre in New Zealand dying. What are your thoughts, Anthony? Are you yes, I'm on the bandwagon, theatre in New Zealand is dying, or do you see a brighter future for theatre here in New Zealand?
I think theatre in New Zealand is changing. So I don't think it's necessarily dying, although societies will die because they won't be able to change it. And it's really sad, actually. I think some societies, especially the societies that suffer are the smaller ones.
Yeah.
And this is actually...
In smaller communities.
It's smaller communities. And because as less people go to the theatre and as, because that's a generational thing. As much as the golden age of theatre sort of sat around between the sort of, really from probably the 50s till the 80s. And this was when... And even in the 80s, it was on sort of the wane. This was, of course, before... In the 50s, it was before television. And then even in the 60s and 70s, you still had that generation who were used to going to the theatre, who knew good theatre, And... but now I think we're being overloaded so much with entertainment. There's so much to pick, really, where you put your money. Society has changed in that... especially in New Zealand, our attitudes towards communities or clubs have changed. So,
well, even things like you see. Sorry to jump in there, but you see stuff around Hawke's Bay. At least you see things like bowling clubs shut down.
Yes, which is so sad.
Which is, but they're kind of those things that you sort of thought. Oh no, like they'll carry on forever.
Absolutely.
People play bowls.
They're always
they were always big societies. They always had healthy memberships and stuff like that. But you see quite a lot of them closing down and amalgamating and all that sort of stuff.
Which is that's exactly it. And we no longer join clubs really. And that used to be the thing. That used to be the thing. You'd join your club and that would be a social event. I do think it's an aging thing as well. I think those people, that generation got older and they settled down and they found they didn't have the time anymore. And I think New Zealand's attitude to work changed quite a bit as well.
Yeah. And
people just don't have the time anymore that they used to. They used to have disposable time, which they don't have now.
And I think again that it's very rare to meet people, even middle class people, that sort of stuff. Who, I mean, not that we have a really defined middle class and things like that here, but like, most people who have families and that sort of thing, both people work to survive.
Exactly.
And you're working, 5, sometimes 6 days a week. You don't have time to go out there and give your time to a society or give your time to a club or give your time to that sort of thing. And workplaces are demanding increasing access into your life. So they're demanding that you are available 24/7, or that you limit your
extracurricular activities.
That you what do you call it, replying to emails at 10 o'clock at night, or that sort of thing. It's not sort of I leave the
as
workplace
if you don't put enough time.
Well, no, look, I do it all the time for people who think that teachers finish at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is not unusual for me to be replying to emails at 10:30 at night. It's not unusual at all. So the demands of work and what we demand have increased. So people have less time. People have less disposable income in terms of the real money they actually have in their pockets, the spending power of that money.
Cost of living's gone up.
Oh, exponentially. Yeah. So the spending power of the money they have in their pockets has decreased. And I would argue as well that the style of entertainment that we consume, which is largely American, and largely in that way film or television, so like things like Netflix and things like that, we're consuming don't get me wrong, very, very good entertainment. And there's lots of very good things, very good shows. very good storylines, all of those kinds of things on Netflix and all that sort of stuff. It alters your perception of what live theatre should be.
Yes.
And so live theatre moves away from this idea of creating a connection with the story and the people in the room at the time to being a spectacle. And we see this with lots of shows that are coming through at the moment, where tricks become more important than story.
Yeah. The talking point of the show is
the trick.
That part where the carpet flew,
or somebody flies off, or there's
the
explosions, or you know.
So essentially, it boils down to musical theatre is becoming one big long WWE intro.
Yeah, literally. Really, I affectionately love the term for it as baffle and bullshit. Like it's like you hide the fact that the story's pretty weak, that nothing's happening with baffle and bullshit. Yeah. And like prime examples of shows that I would say do this. Wicked is a prime example.
Yeah, it is.
Mamma Mia, prime example. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to lump in any of those jukebox musicals. Any musical that's a jukebox musical. So a jukebox musical, for those of you that don't know, is a musical that takes the music of an artist of some variety and sort of shoehorns it into a story.
We Will Rock You.
We Will Rock You.
It's the Queen one going on from Swim Back When. Which I actually, again, it's like going to McDonald's and like, I really enjoy it. Yeah. I really enjoy We Will Rock You. Yeah. I know it's not very good. No. I know it's, but I love it.
But, you know, the other spectacle things are things like Phantom, Mary Poppins, Aladdin, Wicked, all of those, Lion King, all of those kind of shows that require, like, they're just honestly beyond the financial capabilities of small societies to do. They're just beyond the. You cannot afford to do those kinds of things. So pyrotechnics, all that sort of stuff, and what we're losing is this idea. I think, from a societal point of view, we're losing this idea that actually the point of theatre is to create a connection between somebody standing there on that stage and the audience. And here's the thing. The other thing I would say is that not everyone can do it. There seems to also be this idea that, you know, and maybe this is the advent of YouTube and the advent of all those kinds of things, that anybody can stand up there on a stage and act and do that sort of thing. They really can't.
It's painful.
It actually is. You actually require craft to manipulate an audience, to manipulate emotion. And I guarantee you, any of you who have been to see someone phenomenal on stage, if you've ever been to see a live show where you've seen somebody who is really great at what they do, there's no experience like it. You don't get that experience watching TV. You don't get that. TV can be amazing, don't get me wrong, but you don't get that same visceral experience as you do going to the theatre.
In the room.
Yeah.
It's the electric atmosphere.
Experiencing something with, you know, 100, 200, 300, 400 other people in a room at the same time is phenomenally powerful. Yeah. It's phenomenally powerful.
It is.
Are we losing that?
You brought up a really interesting point recently about American media, and it just occurred to me. So, New Zealand was a British colonial. What a lot of societies used to do, and it's certainly the one that we've been quite involved with in Napier, they had a big musical scene for a long time, which was incredibly popular, and that's a hangover from British theatre. So you can actually track the timeline of going from British-style theatre to American-style theatre. Has that contributed to... I don't know. I find it really interesting. We've gone...
Style over substance.
Yeah, it's that British to American transition, which is really, really interesting.
And again, don't get me wrong, I don't want to... Like, nothing's black and white. We're not coming out here and going, American theatre's bad, British theatre's good.
No, there's phenomenal American theatre.
But my argument would be that generally shows have moved away from style, moved away from substance into style. Yeah. Style over substance.
Because that's, from a marketing perspective, a lot easier to market.
Hey, if you've got, like, pyrotechnics going off at the end of Act 1 and the entire stage, you know, setting falls over, like, you know, that's an easy thing to sell. Because you could be like, you know, come along and see this. This is amazing. It's harder to sell, you know, watch this guy stand on stage on his own with a chair for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it legitimately will be amazing. And in fact, I can almost guarantee you that if the guy who's standing by himself on the stage with the chair is good, you will feel more from that than you will from the fireworks and the set falling over.
It's just the fireworks are a quick.
But it's
fix.
easier. It's easier. It's
easier
easier to sell that.
It's a quick hit.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay with you like something like a profound. Yeah.
So the abiding questions.
Okay.
Where is our national theatre? Do you believe that we need to have a national theatre funded by the government?
I didn't realise
in the same way.
That's a good point.
In the same way that the ballet is, the symphony orchestra is, those kinds of things. That theatre, in and of itself, and I'm not necessarily saying musical theatre, but a national theatre in the same way that they have a national theatre in Great Britain, who quite often do a number of interesting plays and shows, and they are incredible.
Yeah. South Bank of London.
Yep, that's right. So a national theatre in New Zealand. Do you think we need one?
Yes.
Okay.
Although I may have trepidations about it.
Yes.
It depends on certain things. You've got to be.
I've always felt, how there's like collective nouns for people, like, Parliament of Owls and, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I've always felt that if you get two theatrical people in a room, the collective should be an argument.
I like that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I think, anything that would bring theatre to a wider scale, to a wider audience is a good thing.
And I think, I honestly, genuinely...
As long as it's good.
But I genuinely believe that theatre... I genuinely believe that theatre has societal good trapped up in it. I genuinely believe that it builds confidence. It teaches people to trust and to work together in groups to produce something phenomenal.
And on that note, sorry to interject, but people, any parents out there who are thinking, whether they think, should my kids go into youth theatre?
Do it.
It's phenomenal for kids. It builds confidence. It's great. Social aspects are great, and it's just I couldn't imagine the person I'd be without it.
It teaches good work habits.
It does. Discipline.
Keeps discipline.
Yeah.
It teaches you to deal with rejection and disappointment.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. As I said, it teaches you to work together in a community
and working with adults as well in a professional environment is incredibly useful.
Absolutely. Intergenerational friendships in terms of, again, like I know we laugh about this quite a bit. Anthony is my best friend and has been for years and years. We're 10 years apart.
Yeah.
So and arguably it would have been difficult for us to meet under other circumstances other than in the theatre. Like I don't know any other group that I've sort of ever been involved in where I can say I legitimately have very close friends who are 10 to 15 years older than me and 10 years to 15 years younger than me.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely
where you're working with those kinds of people. It's awesome.
All right, producer Caroline, lead off the confetti cannons.
Yes.
Now, fireworks.
Go. Yeah.
Can we add an overlay in the editing after this?
I love that.
Have a
like
on Facebook when you have the friends anniversary, and it's like, can we have that, please?
Yeah, you should have seen this, ladies and gentlemen. Producer Caroline, if looks could kill, that's what's happening right now.
Not happy.
It was I liked her impression of fireworks. You obviously can't see because producer Caroline's behind the camera, but this was producer Caroline's. This was producer Caroline's impression of fireworks. Hang on, I've got to get in.
Get in the zone.
Get in the zone.
It's an actor, you see.
Yes, that's right.
Afterwards, for those, I will describe what James did afterwards for those who can't see. Oh, he's a true actor. So what James did was he placed both palms facing towards you, the audience, and he wiggled his fingers, and his mouth made a funny noise, and his His face, he had the look on his face like he was looking at something happening that he couldn't quite understand, but he knew was a good thing.
Okay, with that, I think it's time to move on.
Yeah,
I think it's time. I think we'll wrap that up. Otherwise, we're just going to undo all of the good work we've done so far, telling people that theatre is actually worthwhile.
Is a good thing.
Right. So heading into Uncanny Valley, and I've got a corker of an article here.
Yeah.
And it's a local one, which I think is good. It's from Stuff, which is your favorite news source. The article is large people would be charged $200 more than others getting cremated under a Hastings plan. So, large people should be charged more in cremation fees due to the extra time it takes to process the oversized coffins, the manager of Hastings Cemetery says. In a paper going before the Hastings District Council this week, manager Isaac Bester brings several matters to the councillor's attention, including the extra time involved in cremating oversized caskets. Oversized caskets are used for anybody who weighs more than 150 kg. While an average-sized person's casket takes about 2.5 hours to cremate, an oversized one takes between 4.5 and 5.5 hours.
Oh, that's a big difference.
It is. At present, the costs of providing burial and cremation services and the maintenance of the facilities was not enough to recover costs, and in December the Hawke's Bay Crematorium Committee asked its staff to invest the implementation of a relevant charge for cremating oversized caskets. The fees, including those for cremation, were lower in Hastings than in some other areas. So there you go, it's cheaper to be burnt after you're dead in Hastings. And retaining the fees and charges at the current level would not address the issue of declining cost recovery levels, the paper said. Can't believe that crematoriums are losing profit.
Yeah.
To address this, the paper going before the council proposes increase to various fees and adding new fees. One of these would be a new oversized casket fee of $200 charged on top of the $700 charged for an average casket.
Wow, that's expensive.
It is. It's expensive to be burnt to death. It is also
wait.
well, burnt after you're dead. I'm planning on burning you to death. It is also proposed to start charging for after-hours call-outs. There you are. You're going to be charged. Start charging for after-hours call-outs. You can only die. It'll be cremated between the hours.
Yeah. Why are people desperate to get their
I don't know,
people
mate.
cremated?
At present, there
Just
is
wait
no.
till the next day.
I know. At present, there are no charge despite call-outs for arranging urgent burials and cremations increasing. There would be a $300 fee for after-hours call-outs.
Why is the urgency in this?
I don't know. Councillors will consider the proposals at a meeting on Thursday. If adopted, the new fees and charges would take effect from July the 1st. A council spokeswoman said between 6 and 8 oversized caskets had been cremated at the crematorium in the past year. So this is...
Wait.
Okay, between 6 and 8
January and
in the last year. What? That was out of about a 700. Okay.
Oh, it's hardly any.
Funeral Directors Association.
It's good, though.
Yeah,
it's good.
of New Zealand, President Guy Taylor said he had not come across such a scheme before, and it was not something he supported. Anything that limits a family's ability to make a choice, we as an association would question. Funerals are all about choice. They're about families being able to make choices based on good information given to them by funeral directors, and if those decisions are going to be clouded, then I don't think that's a progressive step.
Wait, so did they just say 6... Okay, so this changes everything. This changes everything.
So what they're saying is that, we just can't recover costs because of burning all these fat people, right?
But it was only
and then
between
they were like,
6 and 8
they're
out
like
of 700.
6 and 8 out of 700 in the last year.
So, like a blip.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
Oh, so it's really a big thing about nothing, isn't it? Really?
But they've put it in front of the council. They want to vote to say that, this is going to happen, and that people are going to have to, pay more. If you're fat, you're going to have to pay more.
I understand it from a utility point of view. But I didn't realise it was such a small...
No. But here's my other question.
Is it worth...
Because this has come up before, right? This has come up before with airlines wanting to charge, overweight people more money to fly. Because they were like, it costs us more in fuel, it costs us more in weight, which to a certain extent you kind of understand, because you go, okay, they have to calculate their fuel, they limit the size of your baggage because it's all to do with weight.
Carry-on's like 30 kgs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it 20 now?
20, I think.
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
they limit all that sort of stuff. They limit the size of your checked baggage because they don't want, because obviously weight counts. However, I'm also going to sit there and say, like, look, I don't get me wrong. Don't think we should shame fat people and be like, you need to pay more money. But if they're sitting there going, okay, it costs us more to cremate fat people, surely it costs you less to cremate small people.
Yep.
So does that mean that you should then have a sliding scale based on how heavy you are when you die as to how much you pay?
Well, if they're going to go that way, then they should go the other way.
Yeah.
In theory.
I mean, not to be crass here, but take, for example, people who die of cancer, who waste away, weigh almost nothing by the time they die, and they get cremated. Do they get a discount? Because actually they're much smaller than what you would consider the average person.
And this is, by the way, this is purely based on the argument they're making.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're going to make the argument that they need to charge more for bigger people, then you have to go the other way. Of course,
Correct.
they won't, because then that's less money towards...
But then you also bring up the argument of how heavy is an average person.
Well, that's right.
So what is your... I mean, they're saying that anybody over 150 kgs, you're considered to be oversized. So anybody over 150 kgs, you're considered to be oversized, and they're going to, charge you an extra $200 to cremate you. And then if it's after hours, they're going to charge you an extra $300. Although, again, I'm kind of with you. I don't really understand this idea of after hours cremation.
It's not like a hospital where you've just...
where you need to see somebody immediately.
Why do you immediately need to, unless you're a serial killer, why would you need to immediately cremate someone?
I don't know.
Actually, I'm genuinely curious about this. If anyone knows why, but also please let us know.
But it's also
it seems very strange.
Without warning. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can be like, hey, look, we got a backlog of dead bodies in the back there. We're going to have to pull some long hours to get through some.
A cart, like in Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Is it like Brian or Holy Grail?
Yeah, bring out your dead. That's,
which one is it?
Holy Grail, isn't it? Yeah.
And like a cart and just loading into the...
Yeah.
No, but...
I'm not dead. Yes, you are.
And usually a cremation follows a funeral service.
Yeah.
So then why would it be an
after hours one? I don't know. Like, I sit there and go, why would it be an after hours one where you wouldn't have warning that that's what it was going to be? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you die in the morning and I'm like, I need you cremated by 5 o'clock tonight.
There's probably some really logical reason for it, and we're going to feel terrible about
Maybe.
the fact that we've made no, but then we'd love to know. Like, no, it's very weird. Very weird to need an emergency.
I don't know. Maybe for religious convictions or whatever, you can't be embalmed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
But then why not just whack you in a freezer? Like in a morgue?
Like Walt Disney?
No, like like whenever, like in morgues and stuff, they keep people...
Yeah, they do.
Until they get around to embalming people. They put them in big freezers, essentially, to stop them from decomposing. So, like, I don't understand... So, but that's... I'm really reaching here. And again, you're right. There's probably some really logical explanation for this that I can't come up with off the top of my head. But I'm just kind of like, why... I'm just picturing
weird.
this... Like, what I'm picturing, right, in my head, and this is probably completely not right, is I'm picturing the person that does these cremations, like, at home, with his wife, having, and I didn't just assume the gender, I just, had to pick one, could, or, her wife, having dinner, gets a phone call from the funeral parlor, and they're like, just had this body appear, we need to, like, cremate it, like, now, you're gonna have to come in, you're gonna have to, like, put your dinner in the fridge, come down,
which
cremate this. Like,
coincidentally is what they should have done with their body.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I'm just like, I don't understand how that's a thing.
It's very strange. It's very strange. On that note, do you want to be cremated or do you want to be thrown into a hole?
Right now?
Yep, right now.
Right now. I'd actually...
Crematorium?
Yes.
I've got an emergency crematorium. Cremation.
He's not overweight, but it is after hours.
Yeah.
No, cremated, I think.
Yeah, I like the idea of being cremated.
I just have this weird thing with being buried. I don't know what it is. Like, I just have a weird...
It's all the horror films. Evil Dead series.
No, do you know what it is? I have this really, like, okay, I understand.
We'll give you a little bell. Give you a little bell.
No, but I understand that, like, when I die, I'm not there. If you know what I mean? Like, I'm not there to care about what happens to my body. But, like, I have this really weird thing about, I don't like the idea of my body decomposing.
No, that's fair
Like,
enough.
I don't like that idea. I don't like the idea of being eaten by worms, and like, it really like quite.
I kind of like that. It's kind of rock and roll. It's very metal. I like it.
I hate it. I hate it. So I'm just like, burn me. Just, yep.
Eat
ashes. That's it. Eat me. I think that's illegal.
It's been well documented court cases about that.
Yes.
I'm with you. I want to be cremated simply because I want my ashes thrown somewhere neat. I don't know. I like the idea
in
of
my face during this podcast.
I want my ashes thrown into the faces of my enemies.
They'll just be like
I'll be
this.
with you forever.
Yeah, they'll just be like this list of people, like how you have to have your ashes thrown in their face.
I don't have that many
And then
enemies.
they'll be
It's
like,
not an Excel spreadsheet.
Yes, you do. You have an
do.
Excel
I have many
spreadsheet with your
enemies.
many enemies, and there'll be some poor lawyer that has to do this who like doesn't know any of these people, and he'll have to go to like their houses, and he'll like knock on the door. It'll be like, hello. Yes, hello. Are you Mrs. Smith? Yes, that's me. Mrs. Eileen Smith? Yes, that's me. Okay, I have something for you here from the estate of Anthony Collier. He pulls out an urn and just like grabs a handful and like throws ash in her face. He's like, now, Mrs. Smith, if you could just sign here to say you've received, you've received the ashes.
reason Mrs. Smith was my enemy was because of her voice.
Yeah. Then we can be on our way. And she's like, I've got it. You know, my mouth was open and everything.
This is how I live on.
This is actually what's going to happen. Which if Anthony ever dies and you get a knock at the door, don't answer. You're getting you're getting ashes to the face.
Well, I need to do my will. Good ideas. You can't. Although I have recently, I was looking. You can't actually, with your will, you can't cause harm to anyone. Boo! Boring.
Do you reckon throwing ashes in somebody's face is causing them harm?
If it gets in their eyes and mouth, maybe.
Yeah,
If they, like,
it's a legal
inhale it or
disclaimer.
something,
Can you close your eyes and your mouth, please? We don't want. We suggest you wash these off like very quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but I think it's quite. There's something poetic about it in that we all started off as stardust and ending up as fire dust.
Fire dust
floating up into the ether. I don't know. I mean, I guess it happens anyway, decomposing. I don't know. I like the idea of it. Throw my ashes from an aeroplane over the sea.
Yeah. The sea, which has been long your idea of an ideal place to live. The sea. Yes. When you've come back from those long stints on your boat.
I've got to be okay. I'm gonna because I have heard personally stories of. No, I'm not gonna make. I'm not gonna. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna name names or anything. But like, I have heard stories of people wanting to spread their ashes in a place that was special to them, but would have been wholly inappropriate. And also it's religiously, like I know a lot of Māori religion, and in terms of mana and stuff, and like you shouldn't have dead people spread out in places of
the idea of like tapu and stuff like
that. Where you eat and stuff, and that was why this particular issue came up, which I can't talk about on the podcast. But
you see, I don't even know that I particularly want to be spread.
What, like butter on toast?
Yes, and eaten gradually, piece by piece.
Actually, that'd be good, wouldn't
it? No, if you truly love
butter,
me. So
cremate me into butter.
When you get married, your poor widowed wife is going to have to sit there and go, if you really loved me, you'll eat all of my ashes. like just little bits at a time on toast. No, I don't even know that I particularly want to be spread. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I'm like, the reason I want to be
on an urn, on a mantelpiece.
Oh no, God, no! I don't want to be on an mantelpiece.
You're just asking.
I think that's. Look, and I'm sorry if people at home. I think that's weird.
It is weird.
I think it's really weird that you're like, oh yeah, there's Granny on the mantelpiece. Like, I think that's weird. Like, I like the idea of being cremated, but then just being chucked in the ground somewhere. It's like burial with extra steps. Like, I don't like the idea of decomposing. I like the idea of being cremated. Yeah, because it's more environmentally friendly.
True. Yeah, true.
I like the idea of being cremated, and buried in a little small wee thing.
Just a little box.
Oh, for God's sake, please don't put me in one of those bloody walls. I hate them. Don't put me in one of those walls. Bury me. But do you know what I mean? Like, just a little plaque,
Mental
buried,
note.
but like,
Buried James
just
into
in
a big old wall.
just this one right here.
This one right here.
Right behind that.
He will always be on the podcast.
We'll just remove Sufjan Stevens, and there'll just be a plaque there where I'll be buried into the Esoterica wall.
We'll be sure to keep a record
in front
of
it.
plaque.
That's right. So your new co-host doesn't feel awkward about sitting here. And that way, I'll always be there. No, like I don't know that I want to be spread. I also kind of think that's a bit weird.
Is it?
Yeah.
I would like to go up.
Here's a place.
Up in like a.
Have the burnt ashes of my dead body.
Because I kind of get it like into
weird.
the Grand Canyon or something.
Why?
Well, not for me personally, but I understand why people would want to do that because it's a really neat like place or something rock and roll like I don't know. I want Iggy Pop to snort my ashes. Just like yeah.
Lawyer knocks on the door.
Iggy?
Hello, Mr. Pop. Is your name Mr. Pop? Yes, that's me. Yeah.
He doesn't talk like that.
I'm not doing an Iggy Pop voice. So he's like, Mr. Iggerfred Pop, and he's like, yep, that's me. And he's like, I have a delivery here from you for the estate of Mr. Anthony Collier. And he's like, oh, it's not another one of those fucking people that wants me to snort their ashes, is it? And he's like, just has all of these urns lined up of people who've been like, yeah. And he's like, I'll do it after breakfast. It's like, definitely Mr. Iggerfred Pop. No, I don't know. I think the whole thing's weird. I think it's weird that you could be like, I would understand if they were like, look, I suppose we should bring it back to the topic, but like, I suppose
shoot me out of a cannon. Not cremated. Shoot me out of a
no,
cannon.
I've got it.
Into space.
No. We'll link it to what we were talking about earlier on. We'll just shoot you out of a confetti cannon at the end of Mamma Mia.
My limp body just falls into the audience.
No, think about it. You think about it. You can get
all
of
the ash.
it. Yeah, no, you see,
Which
you
can
can
blind
get
people.
no. You see, you get everything that you wanted, like all in one. Like it's killing multiple birds with one stone. You get to shoot yourself into the face of your enemies, right?
True. Audience
Like,
members of Mamma Mia.
yes,
Yeah.
that's right. In the middle of a show in a theater, which is special to you. Admittedly, the show's rubbish, but like you know, you cross off everything all in the one go.
Perfect. Right. That's it. That's my new will.
That's actually what's happening.
But by then it'll be for 3.
You realize
it'll be for like
you
the
realize
fifth
that
edition of
if
it.
for whatever reason, and I hope this doesn't happen, but you tragically die anytime in the near future.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be so nervous at your funeral that they're going to be like, that
I want them to be living in a constant state
do you know
of
what
fear.
I would do? Do you
I'm
know what
gonna
I
set
would
up
do?
traps.
No, here's what I would do, right? If you died, and you know, obviously people have listened to this podcast, you know, we've talked about shooting you out of confetti cannons to like into people's faces. Like, what I would do is at your funeral, wherever your funeral's happening, I would go and I would get a couple of pieces of steel pipe and I would just stick them up on the ceiling, and just like through the entirety of
And have a safety tag on it.
Yeah.
As well, make it look like it's
And just through the entirety of the thing, like anybody who's ever listened to this podcast would just be sitting there going, "Oh my god, those are the cannons." Like, when is it happening? You see everybody like hiding behind their funeral programs.
Which will be
it's gonna go.
Which
off.
will be beautifully designed, by the way. If I have a crappy program, it's going to be so upset.
I'm gonna print them on the printer at school. Oh no! It'll have clip art with Comic Sans writing.
This is why I can't die.
Yeah, and I'm gonna deliver you.
this is
I'm
why
gonna deliver your eulogy.
No. Iambic pentameter. You'll be like, Anthony, loving you was never easy, I know. But it's time for you to go.
You would have loved this song.
No.
Oh, that's what's happening. And then right at the end, I'll go up there at the end of my eulogy, and I'll be like, this is what he would have wanted. And like, I just pull these cords that are attached to it, and it'll be like those really terrible party poppers, and they just go, and everyone will be like, ah!
I want people to be really but can we please, as I'm going down into the hole, just launch me up, just launch me up into space.
Launch you into space, you reckon?
I'm gonna go really high, but the problem is I need to go high enough that I enter the exit the atmosphere. So if I don't, I'm coming back down.
Stuff it up,
I'm
and all of it.
And everyone will be watching, and it will take a long time because it's quite high up, and then they'll sort of think, has it exited the atmosphere? Is it exiting? And then they'll see sort of the black spot, and they'll sort of see limbs flailing and stuff. And then,
I see. You're not even in a container. Like, just
no. Well, no, because I want to be able to see.
Okay.
I want to be exposed to the elements.
Put a crash helmet on you.
And maybe a reflective
high-vis
vest. And they'll see this. The dot will get smaller, but then they'll be like, "Oh, it's been a while now," and people will be like, "Do we clear out now? Like,
what do we do? Like,
we leave, or do we wait?"
I don't know. I've never been to one of these space shooting funerals. What's the what's the protocol?
Etiquette?
Like,
what's the etiquette for this kind of thing?
How long do we have to and there's the boyfriend of like the girl that you knew from high school who's like, I'm only here because know I have to be here to support my girlfriend, and he's like going, I'm so sweetheart.
We gotta think that.
How long do we actually can we go yet? And
she's like, Chad, just wait.
Yeah, she's like, look, she's like, I don't really know. Like, I've never been to one of these things before. He's like, it's just because.
Also, I'm sorry this was your exposure.
Because the rugby's on this afternoon. No, yeah.
And then the hole will start to get bigger again.
Yeah,
like it'll start to get bigger. Like the dot. I mean, it'll start to get bigger again.
See,
and then everyone will go, wait, is that? Do you think that's getting big? But there'll be confusion because people won't trust each other. They'll go, I don't know if that's getting big. Is that coming back? Is it coming back, or are our eyes just focusing better? And then it'll get bigger and bigger, and then people start to panic.
Yeah,
they kind of go, oh god, and people look at each other and
no, it can't be. Surely not.
No, surely not. And then it comes back, and unfortunately, what's happened is my body's disintegrated on the way down upon impact, and it's over everyone. So enjoy the rugby, Chad.
This is going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to this funeral.
Well,
but you see, the problem is statistically.
I can't say I.
Statistically, I'm going to die before you, so I'm going to miss out on all of this.
This is true.
Which is disappointing.
It is disappointing.
Yeah. So
I won't be able to experience that.
Absolutely. Anyway, we're being told by producer Caroline that we need to wrap up because we clearly just waffled for way too long.
It took a turn.
That went places that were unexpected. Anthony.
What, on a scale of 0 to 10?
On a 0.
How much do I want to be flung into space? If I get to... James, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much would you like your ashes thrown into the eyes of your enemies?
That's a 10.
It's definitely a 10.
It's coming.
It's definitely a 10.
No,
be scared out there.
Sorry, Anthony. Should fat people be charged more to be cremated? Because that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What? Honestly, my initial thought was fair enough if they're having to pay wages and stuff for.
Yeah.
But then
6 out of 700.
It's nothing. It's not worth the effort. Yeah. It's actually not worth making people feeling sad, like people feeling crappy about. Because at the end of the day, who carries the burden of the funeral? It's the family.
The funeral director comes up and goes, now Mrs. Jones, sorry to say, it's going to be an extra $200 because he's quite fat.
See, and that's a scenario.
It's going to be a long one.
See, and that's the thing. That is a scenario. Can you imagine being that person?
Yeah, they're like,
can you imagine being the poor office admin doing
that? And then you get the bill, and it's actually literally itemized in the bill as the fat charge. And then in there, they're like, this poor grieving widow's that's in there going, like, I just don't understand. They're like, well, Mrs. Jones, it's very large. Very large people burn for a very long time.
And he's quite sinister about it as well.
Yeah. It just wouldn't stop burning.
We should be paying you.
Yeah.
But no, I think Yeah. At first, I thought, no, I mean,
actually,
I kind of get it.
That's a good
but
point.
then 7 to
No,
what is
that's
it?
a good-
6 to 8 out of 700.
Yeah, there's a good point.
Not worth it.
We pay for firewood to keep ourselves warm. Dead bodies you have to pay to to burn yourself. I don't know, you know.
And on that. And on that, no.
Bet you their heating bills are low.
Do they? Well, can they though? Can they transfer that into energy?
Oh, you're burning somebody. The heat's got to go somewhere.
Why aren't they doing that?
What your heating is now funded by the Hastings crematorium? No, I imagine that place is pretty warm.
Well,
You're not paying for heating.
no, they're not.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
That brings it into
Okay.
Uncanny Valley.
Okay. Okay.
I think we covered some really important things there. You do realise that now this is video documented, so if you were to die very quickly, I could show them this video and be like,
they have permission to do that.
"This is what entity wanted."
I
think
anyone who seriously knows me knows that I would just the funniest thing you can imagine, or something you think I would find funny, would be what I'd want, and people would know that would just absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be there to
I'm
see
telling
it,
you,
though,
this is why your funeral program's going to be printed in Comic Sans off my school
okay.
printer.
No, I'm
With
designing.
clip art.
I'm designing my funeral.
No,
program.
it doesn't matter what you design, mate. You're
designing
dead.
it.
And it's going to be clip art, and it's going to be that face. You know the face that you always get. What is it that
Like an emoji.
Yeah, it's kind of like the emoji face. It's the clip art one with the yellow puzzled look, and it's got the hand, and it's
yeah.
I'm going to stick that on the front. Anthony Collier. Rip.
Rip in peace.
Rip in peace. That's literally
Rip
going
in
on
peace.
your thing. All right. Okay. And now into our favorite section. Now into 30-second waffle. Now, who went first last time? You went first last time, didn't you? In our mysterious deleted episode.
I did.
Yeah. It was brilliant too. You should have heard these arguments. They were sparkling.
Very good. Very good.
You'll never hear the like again. So I suppose that means ever.
So don't even ask, okay?
So I suppose it's my turn then.
Yes,
I always get really I say this every time. I get really nervous,
I'm quite nervous about
for this section.
I'm getting quite warm.
I'm happy to talk and waffle about any subject, that's fine. All of a sudden, it's like, no, you've got to come up with 30 seconds to justify this. It freaks me out. I get anxiety.
Me too. Good luck.
Oh, this is a Discord one.
Oh, is it? Cool.
I can't actually read who this is from. It's at O Muffins. Yeah, there you go. That's what producer Caroline's written. At O Muffins.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this should be interesting. Why Fortnite is highly beneficial and educational for those who play it. Oh, Jesus.
Wow. Oh, no.
Why it's beneficial and educational for those who play it. Fortnite, like any other multiplayer game, teaches people to work together collaboratively in order to achieve a goal. These are transferable skills that then you can take into the marketplace or into the job site. It also teaches you the art of dedication and communication, because you have communication under pressure to achieve the goal of getting down to being the last person in the Battle Royale format.
Wow! That was fantastic. Nice. I'm really impressed with that.
Go.
That was very good.
There you go. Fortnite's awful. Why are you playing Fortnite? Oh, Muffins, find better things to do with your time than play Fortnite.
That was fantastic. No, I'm genuinely really impressed with that. It was really good. Well done.
Thank you. Why, thank you. Right, okay.
Yeah, I have to follow that up.
There's always a sense of relief when
You've done one.
You've done one?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Okay, what's this? It just says my name on it.
Is it in black writing or red writing?
Is this a Discord?
So no, this is a pretty Caroline.
Oh no, it is
I think.
Discord.
Oh, it's a Discord one.
Oh, this is from Benika.
Ah, friend of the show, Monika.
I at first thought it said why are minors influential. It's why are minions influential?
Look at that face. I love it. It's good. I hate Fortnite. You hate Minions.
Minions are influential because it is now common practice to insert merchandisable items into every film. This happened. It started to happen very prolifically during the Star Wars series. So they're influential because they are influential. They were designed to be influential. They were designed to be inoffensive. They're appealing to older people. They're wacky tic-tac, stupid things. But they are influential because that's what they're designed to be. Merchandise makes all the money now, and they saw that market and exploited it. That's
boom.
Literally why they are.
There you go.
Why they like that. And they are a marketing point. If you like Minions, congratulations, you're a sucker.
Did you just throw up a little bit in your mouth?
I did. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, the thing is, I mean, I agree with they are influential. Being influential doesn't mean it's a good thing. You can be influential. I hate them so much.
Yeah.
I hate.
I agree with you. It's everything that's wrong. It's everything that's wrong with those things. Like
I want to reiterate, they have worked for the world's worst villains.
Yeah,
guys, Minions were, by that account, involved, and I want to reiterate this because I think I talked about this in an earlier podcast. They were involved in the Holocaust.
Yep.
They were involved during the Great Famine of China.
Cultural Revolution.
The Cultural Revolution through Pol Pot.
Yep.
They were involved during the Great Famine of Russia. They served Stalin, Pol Pot, Hitler. Who else did they serve?
Genghis Khan.
Right,
okay. They're awful.
The cast of The Big Bang Theory.
The cast of The Big Bang Theory. That's the worst. Okay, right, next one. There's always, an insane sense of relief when you've done the last one. When you finish the last one, you're like, yes.
And then you go to do the next one, you're like...
Oh, another Discord one.
Oh, very good.
This is from number one Caroline fan. Oh, producer Caroline, that's one of your fans. Okay, the question is, why natural selection is important? Natural selection. I'm assuming we're talking about Darwinism here.
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah, I think we are.
Natural selection is important, obviously from a Darwinistic kind of point of view, in that it means that species are able to propagate and able to best take advantage of the environments in which they find themselves placed. Natural selection in a business sense is also important in terms of the fact that it keeps redundant and irrelevant products out of the marketplace. How many hand wringer washing machines do you still use in your house today? It drives competition and makes things better.
Nice, that's good. That's really good. So that's a difficult. That was a difficult one because it's so.
It's very broad.
Yeah. Natural selection and what?
Natural selection. I generally believe in natural selection, and I generally, actually, funnily enough, it ties in with my political views in some ways, in that I don't actually believe that politics should intervene most of the time to stop that sort of thing from happening.
The thing is, I think natural selection you can't disagree with because it's what happens.
As long as it's not natural selection in an offensive way, where it's like
not like eugenics or anything like
eugenics
that.
or anything, but like
in the animal kingdom, for example,
or a general sort of free market idea. Okay,
which you're wrong about, by the way. Here we go.
Most certainly am not. Okay, here we go. This will be a political discussion for another time.
Tell that to the big pharma companies. Tell that to the people who can't afford to buy medicine.
Tell that to the farmers of Soviet Russia.
Just because I'm against the free market doesn't mean I'm a communist.
You're a socialist.
God, you sound like an American.
Dirty socialist.
Discord.
Another number one Caroline fan.
Oh, no, this is basically the same question. Why are minions and murderers?
No, you've answered that
I've actually, number one Caroline fan, I've already kind of talked about why they're all murderers. They were all involved in those horrible things.
Let's go for another one.
Good question, and I'm on board with that.
Actually, funnily enough, that's not a question you disagree with.
That's
a question you agree with.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. They are murderers, and they shouldn't be exposed to kids.
This is a me
one. Oasis single-handedly defined 90s music. They sure did. Today is gonna be the day
that they're gonna throw it back to you.
Okay, so Oasis single-handedly defined 90s music, not Blur, apparently, because whenever you go to a party now and there's some douchebag with a guitar, that douchebag will always play Wonderwall. So Oasis hit the perfect balance between sing-along songs and working-class males and lads who just like to play a bit of music. And that's how they defined the 90s, by being simple.
Love it. Well done. Good argument.
I actually like Oasis.
Yeah, you do.
I actually like Oasis.
I just knew that you'd struggle to stretch it to defining 90s music.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean they were obviously a huge part of the Britpop movement. They weren't even the best Britpop band. Pulp and Blur were better, but
Pulp I'll give you. Wasn't a huge fan of Blur. Some Blur songs I like.
Blur is so much better.
But I've got
way more prolific.
I've got a soft spot in my heart for Oasis. Soft spot in my heart for Oasis. I really do. Every single one of my music kids can sing "You Don't Look Back in Anger." We study it in music.
Yeah, but they had like 2 good albums. That's it.
I kind of agree. There's lots of Tosh in there as well.
Yeah,
but all right, cool. So that brings an end to episode number 15.
Episode 15.
Yeah, episode 15.
Wow.
We've been doing this for 15 weeks. It's over 15 hours of us talking about stuff. I know, and people are still listening. In fact, not only are people still listening, more people are starting to listen. It's insane.
And we do really appreciate it, by the way.
We love it. We will be streaming. You won't see this until after the stream comes out. But just remembering that we are streaming every Saturday, and I think we're going to add a Wednesday stream as well. We're going to add a
Wednesday stream as well. So we're going to be streaming twice a week.
Yep.
Which is really exciting. So you'll get the podcast on Monday, there'll be a stream on Wednesday, and there'll be a stream on Saturday. Then, so sort of every couple of days there'll be some sort of content from us.
Generally our stream on a Saturday won't be in the afternoon. It'll be sort of a 2:30, 3 o'clock stream. Generally, our stream on Wednesday will be an evening stream, sort of 7:30 kind of idea for the evening stream. Keep an eye on the Discord. Keep an eye on Instagram, all our other social media
handles,
stuff.
All that we don't need to say.
All the handles, you know what it is.
We keep saying we don't need to. They're in the bio.
Check
the
handles
are in the bio. Just copy and paste
but keep an eye on the social media, and you'll see when those specific stream times are. But you're not going to go too far wrong with 2:30 and 7:30. Is going to be pretty much us. 2:30 on the Saturday, 7:30 on the Wednesday. Finishing off Soma, and then I think we've decided the next one we're doing is Bioshock. Yay, which I'm really
very exciting.
I'm really
James is a veteran of Bioshock, and I love the Bioshock series. So
absolutely,
and so James will be playing that one. It'll be really cool. So we're sort of going to alternate playing, and I'll be able to sort of sit back and
relax
and sort of talk about the architecture and stuff.
So we're going to go and have some more fun with Humphrey and Nigel.
We are
Humphrey and Nigel. Kate.
Kate.
So if you so Kate, Humphrey and Nigel. So come along and join us and our screamy friends. Awesome.
Yeah.
We shall see you. Hit us up on the Discord.
Yeah.
More questions for 30-second waffle. See us on the streams. We'll see you later.
Catch you later.